If you're a custodial supervisor at a local high school, you know that cleanliness is key, and that the best place to get cleaning supplies is from Grainger. Grainger helps you stay fully stocked on the products you trust, from paper towels and disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Plus, you can rely on Grainger for easy reordering, so you never run out of what you need. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
If you've been thinking about getting serious with your money, like actually serious, now's the time. The Motley Fool is offering new members 50% off their iconic stock recommendation service, Stock Advisor. This is the same service that's crushed the market with recommendations that have returned 1,057% since inception, compared to the S&P 500's 180% over that same period. This isn't guesswork. The Motley Fool has a track record of finding companies before they become household names. So if you want to invest smarter and you like saving money while doing it, go to fool.com/listen to claim your 50% off discount off a 1-year term of Stock Advisor. Again, that's fool.com/listen. Returns of 1,057% are from the Motley Fool's product Stock Advisor and measured against S&P 500 returns of 180% as of July 10th, 2025. Past performance is not an indicator of future results. All investing involves a risk of loss. Individual investment results may vary.
His name was Cain. He had a horse along the countryside. I saw him ride. He had a gun. I knew him well. Oh, I heard him singing. I knew he loved someone. His name was Cain.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Culture Cast. I'm Editor-in-Chief of Culture Shock, Chris Dashew.
I'm John Liam.
And I am everyone's favorite viewer,
John, no exciting intro this week?
Not this time.
I'm disappointed,
Couldn't
man.
think of one off the top of my head.
Did I have enough? Did I have enough for the two of
You
us?
could have just been like, my name is John Liam, and I'm gunless. I have no guns. I terrorize poor Chinese railroad workers.
Guys, this is totally off topic, but topical at the same time for Comic-Con. There's this Watchmen Collector's
That doesn't
Edition.
make any sense.
You literally just contradicted yourself in the span of 2 seconds.
Don't worry about it. There's a Watchmen Collector's Edition that has the book and like the complete movie director's cut all in one.
Don't most people who care about that already have both?
I have just the book. I don't really own any movies in physical
All
copies.
VOD, bro.
Right, but you have a copy of the book. I mean,
Yeah. I actually don't have a copy. I've only seen the movie, I think, once in theaters.
Oh.
Yeah, I used to have a weird thing where I wouldn't watch movies twice. Sorry.
That's random.
Hashtag
So yeah, so as Yashar mentioned, Comic-Con was last week, and as of recording right now, Comic-Con is currently wrapping up. Of note, kind of the only real thing, I mean, a lot of stuff happens, obviously, because it is Comic-Con, but in the last 72 hours, kind of the big stuff has been Star Wars behind-the-scenes video that they released, where you finally get to see Leia in character, Ash versus the Evil Dead, which looks awesome, Ennio Morricone is scoring Hateful Eight, which is Tarantino's newest Western. I put Western in quotations. And the trailer for Batman versus Superman. The other stuff is the other stuff's unofficial. I mean, they didn't release anything officially. It's just really terrible YouTube videos.
They announced the Green Lantern
Corps
movie is going to happen.
They announced it, and it's not going to be for another 5 years.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised they
could say that they're going to make anything. They could say they are going to make anything and say it's coming out in 5 years and then never make it. We're going to make Justice League 15 in 2045. All right. Sure.
I feel like this is probably something that's going to happen.
It's just announcing stuff 5 years ahead of time. Like, okay, you don't even cast Green Lantern yet. I'm assuming Green Lantern is going to be in the JLA movie anyways.
Yeah, in the JLA movie for sure.
I'm not excited about anything that DC has been doing.
We're getting worn out on superheroes.
I told you, man.
Except for Deadpool.
But that's because Deadpool is not superhero mold.
Right, he's an anti-hero, and I've been reading his comic books for years, as opposed to the standard sort of feel-good, I'm a good person superheroes like Iron Man or Spider-Man or Superman.
Well, and it doesn't help that
that
DC, like you and I were talking about before we started the podcast, John, DC is trying to catch up to Marvel.
So they're trying to cram 5 years of okay to mediocre world building into 2 movies.
It's one movie of world building so far.
Well, they set up stuff in whatever the Superman one was.
I'm saying that's all that there is right now is Man of Steel.
No, right, but then you include... Oh my god. Then you include Batman vs. Superman, which is the one where they're actually doing world building to build the Justice League movie that they're making without giving Wonder Woman or Green Lantern or The Flash their own independent films, and you get 2 movies of world building.
Well, Suicide Squad too, but...
Suicide Squad is probably not going to have anything to do with the rest of their world.
Batman.
Yes, but not to, like, build the Batman movie. Batman
and so is Joker's cameoing as well.
But
Joker cameoing in Suicide Squad?
Cameoing.
I thought he's the main villain of Suicide Squad. I thought the reason is they're going after the Joker.
I mean, either way, I have...
Does anyone know what that movie's about?
I honestly have no interest in that movie, though.
Wouldn't that be... weird, though? I mean, storyline-wise, Batman is just starting out, right?
No, he's been around for a while.
Oh,
they really made it look like
Ben Affleck was just dealing with his parents' death.
I'm assuming.
That wasn't like a flashback.
Well, how am I supposed to know that in a trailer that cuts away from it 2 seconds afterwards?
Well, I'm just saying, I'm assuming, like, they're not going to do the whole... It's probably like
I thought that they had a...
And they're going to relegate Jeffrey Dean Morgan to a flashback?
Yeah, bro.
I mean...
And Jeffrey Dean Morgan signed on to the film knowing it was a flashback. There you go.
At best, we're going to get, like 10 minutes of Bruce Wayne as a kid? At most, and I doubt it'll be,
I mean, it's not like I want a movie about
Batman
Bruce
versus Superman.
Kid.
No, Batman's been Batman for a while. They even said it's kind of like Dark Knight.
That's the one thing.
Returns.
It's going to be an established Batman. They showed like a Robin suit in that trailer. I didn't see it, but everyone that I've talked to has been like, "You see the Robin suit?" I was like, "No."
Well, one of the rumors that Carrie Kelly might be Robin?
Isn't Carrie Kelly Robin when Batman's like an old retiree?
That's what I'm saying. It's like loosely based on The Dark Knight Returns. Hence, like the bat armor fighting Superman.
They're just picking and choosing parts from comic books and throwing it into a movie. Because it's like old Batman fighting Superman, and Batman, no offense, Ben Affleck, you're in your 40s, dude. You're not old. Even if they give you gray hair, bro, you're still not old.
But that is like he's been Batman for a while at this point. Probably like 20 years. Because think about it, like Batman probably started in his 20s. And he's just now fighting the Joker? Right? And if he's well, we don't really know.
Or Superman is just now being like, this Batman is a one-man crusade of fear. I have to stop him. After 20 years? Way to suck, Superman.
Well, Superman really hasn't been doing much public stuff until like the Zod thing. So I don't think he would have really gone after Batman. Anyways. See what I'm saying?
It's just, like, I think...
I don't really care. I'm not going to go see the movie, so...
It did seem like they're putting Bruce Wayne in Metropolis during the time of like the incident, and that kind of like is like because like obviously Wayne Towers or Wayne Enterprise would have like offices all over the country.
The only thing that I am happy about coming out of Comic-Con in regards to Batman Superman is that they are going to address my main issue with Man of Steel, which is Superman and Zod destroying fucking Metropolis / Gotham by fighting, and that's going to be like a driving factor for the new film.
Yeah, but I don't know if I want to watch a bunch of political persecution of Superman.
Not to mention, I think our podcast never made the light of day, but we talked about it. And was it Ryan and I were speaking, and we were like, if you actually watched it, like 90% of the destruction was caused by Zod's machine beforehand. Superman, like, probably only destroys like one building during his fight with Zod. But that's a digression.
I just think that the new movie is going to be too much stuff for one movie, and I think that's going to be a detriment to DC for not being on the cinematic universe train that everybody else has been jumping on. Yeah,
I agree with you. I mean, Avengers 2 was too much of that shit for me, and all their heroes had already had.
But they're setting up their newer heroes too on top of it.
Right, but I mean, this one, Batman vs Superman, is going to introduce Green Lantern, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, and the Flash.
Yeah,
right.
Right.
And none of them have had their own movies yet?
I'm not sure if the Flash is going to be in this, but I think Aquaman is.
Well, Aquaman is Jason Momoa.
It's Aquaman and Wonder Woman, I mean, the Flash is still 4 superheroes from one movie.
Although I doubt Aquaman has more than like a end of movie role.
Then why even
That's just my
bill
guess.
anything about it?
Well, to like build excitement.
They did that in the original Avengers movies without actually bringing those people in. They just had Nick Fury do some bullshit foreshadowing stuff.
Yeah, and Josh Brolin, they promoted him being Thanos in was it Guardians he's in? Yeah, Guardians. And he's only in like 2 scenes. I mean,
I don't know. I just think that the Batman Superman movie, it's probably going to look cool, but looking cool only gets you so much. Considering how great some of the recent Marvel movies have been. Let's move on to what we're supposed to talk about this week. Keeping with Western Month, this month our salute to Westerns, we watched comedy Westerns this week. And Yashar earlier in the week watched Maverick.
Great movie. My favorite Western that I've watched.
So we watched Gunless and Support Your Local Sheriff. And we also spoke with William Phillips and Tyler Mane, who were in Gunless. So after we're done talking about Gunless, we'll play those interviews.
Well, William Phillips wasn't really in Gunless.
So let's he wrote it. That's right. So let's get right to Gunless. Gunless came out in 2010. It's a Canadian Western film, directed, like we said, by William Phillips and written by him. It focuses on the Montana Kid, otherwise known as Sean Lafferty, played by Paul Gross, as he heads across the kind of...
Hello, my name is Kevin Tudor, and I'm one of the 3 hosts of Almost Major, a film podcast dissecting many major indie studios and the films they release. Every week, myself, Charlie Nash, and Bryden Doyle discuss overlooked, forgotten, or bona fide classic indie films via studio-specific miniseries. We've previously covered numerous films from Artisan Entertainment, Lionsgate Films, and New Line Cinema. Titles including The Blair Witch Project, American Psycho, Dogville, But I'm a Cheerleader, Saw, Requiem for a Dream, and Ringmaster, the Jerry Springer film. Anyways, we have a fun time every week, and we hope you will join us. Subscribe to Almost Major wherever you get your podcasts. Now proudly a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Do you love movies? So do I. What's up, y'all? It's KB, and I love movies. Inviting you to listen to The Conversation, a film podcast where passion meets perspective and opinion. From the old school to the new, I invite a guest on to discuss the movies that thrill us, challenge us, break our hearts, or even blow our minds. There's always new episodes dropping wherever you get your podcasts. So join the conversation. We don't just watch movies. We love talking about them too. The Conversation with KB Loves Movies, a part of Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
American Wild West and ends up in the foothills of Canada, in the Rockies of Canada. And it's a fish out of water story with a little bit of social commentary. It also features Tyler Mane, like we said, who we spoke with, and Sienna Geary. But as for recognizable people, that's really it.
Well, Graham Greene is recognizable for sure.
Tyler Mane.
Yeah, we already mentioned him.
And I want to say, I'm trying to remember what the actor who plays the bounty hunter at the end. I've seen him in I've seen him in Affair. Rennie. He played Lou Ashby in Californication. That's where I recognize him from. So, Yashar, what did you think of the film?
It's okay. Nothing. Okay, so here's my problem with the movie. It takes this premise that he has to duel the Tyler Mane character, and it just runs with it for like an hour and a half. And I was just like, especially because they try to develop him as someone who's trying to learn, because he's from the Wild West. He stumbles into Canada from, I guess, bounty hunters after him, and he's trying to like learn how to become more of an improved person, less violent. But he has this
trying to.
No, he's actively not. It just happens.
Well, it happens, yeah. But he has this weird obsession with, and all Tyler Mane does is like take his horse and put a horseshoe on him. Like that's all he does.
Yeah.
And he has this weird obsession with like, hey, I have to duel you. And like after about 30 minutes of hearing it, like I was thinking to myself, I don't really care. I don't want to see this duel. And it's basically like what, like he could have let that go, and they could have come up with some other reason for him to stay in the town, you know?
Wow.
And then every time he sees him, he's like, I'm gonna fight you. He's like, I'm gonna fix this gun and we're gonna fight. I'm like, can't you go to another town and buy another gun? Wouldn't that be quicker?
Well, I think that, and the more I think about it, the more I realize that the The thing that I had the most problem with this film was the social message of the film. And I think that the social message of the film is we as Americans are violent.
Right. And Canada does it a little better.
and like overlooking shit and not jumping, at the first sign of something going wrong is indicative of America then and now.
Right. All right. So, you guys, especially you, Yashar, have not really watched a lot of Westerns. Chris, you're a little more experienced with the genre than Yashar is. But a lot of what's going on in Gunless, to me, is more sort of turning tropes of the genre on their head and making fun of that as a genre, as opposed to trying to make some sort of social commentary about country differences or characters being unintentionally pig-headed. The Montana Kid is supposed to be stubborn about his duel because he's, living the cowboy code, the gunfighter sort of lifestyle where you have to reply to any insult to you, everybody's on their own, don't touch my shit or I'll kill you type of world, and he ends up in Canada, which historically was settled differently than America was.
And then, so I got the trope thing, but he was talking about when he killed 11 people, he was like, well, every person I've killed has just done something to deserve it.
Uh-huh.
And I'm thinking to myself, so what did, and I mean, he gave he's like, this guy beat a dog badly, this guy beat up my dad, these people
Well, first he said the guy killed his dad.
Well, yeah.
Then he just said, he beat him up.
He beat him up. But still, that, at least you can be like, okay, well, he beat your dad. That's somewhat understandable. All Jack did was replace your horse's horseshoes. How does that fall on your dichotomy of...
That's what John said. He touched his stuff, and that is kind of the unspoken rules of the gunfighter.
And the point is that it's absurd. They make a whole plot point towards the end of the movie where he says, I can't let this go because if I let this go, I should have let the dog getting kicked go.
Right.
And if I let that go, I should have walked away from the guys that called me cheaters. And if I let that go, why did I have to shoot a guy for beating my dad up?
Yeah,
the whole point is that this one instance is casting doubt upon his entire lifestyle, and he's having to deal with that. And that's why he spends so much of the movie fighting the sort of urge to learn anything.
Right, and I just got tired of hearing about it because he brought it up every 5 minutes in the movie, and I just thought to myself, I was like, okay, just...
Pretty sure they went over it 3 times.
Oh, I can't say for certain.
One when he talked about it, one when the girl made a joke about it, and one when he used it for a resolution exposition.
And then the whole thing with the Canadian Mounties, I kind of like that, except for the fact, why introduce a whole crew of them and then not have them around during the actual gunfight?
What are you talking about?
They came at the end once the gunfight was over, but the movie kept emphasizing that these guys make rounds pretty consistently, and then we even saw they have a whole crew.
One of them makes a round. It emphasizes that they make rounds with one guy and his Indian guide.
Right. Who is also in Maverick.
Right. Graham Greene is in a lot of stuff as an Indian. But it's not like they roll around in posses. And most of the Canadians don't like the fact that he's there, as witnessed in the scene where they're at the party and all the Mounties beat him up.
And then he goes and defends him. Dustin Milligan does.
Right.
Right. There's an old... I'm going to misquote this, but basically saying it's don't introduce something that basically serves no purpose in a film. And what was the point of introducing them other than to give us that one aside scene?
That is to introduce the character of Dustin Milligan, not to introduce the fact that there are Mounties.
No, I understand that, but if you remove Dustin Milligan from the film, it's exactly the same, other than one dance scene.
Okay, well, I really like this movie.
I can tell. I just felt like this movie not dragged, but at times it felt like it didn't have a defined focus, if that makes sense. And that's not an indication of me not liking it. It's just a feeling of when you pair this film with Support Your Local Sheriff, which is a funnier, more to the point movie, this movie isn't as successful with its comedy.
Well, Support Your Local Sheriff is a lot faster paced than Gunless. Gunless is to Western comedies what The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly and Once Upon a Time in the West are to Western action movies.
Right.
It's still in the same sort of vein, but it focuses more on the characters and the people involved than Support Your Local Sheriff is joke after joke after joke after joke, which is fine and awesome, but I like Gunless too.
Right.
I mean, it's not a bad film. It's unremarkable.
And to be fair, the subgenre of comedy westerns isn't exactly full of options. You have Blazing Saddles, you have Gunless, you have the Support Your Local Sheriff, Support Your Local Gunfighter, Three Amigos, which is a western.
Maverick.
Wagons East.
Yeah. So it's not like we're sitting here with like a plethora of comedy westerns to draw from either. Which is unfortunate because comedy westerns are a real untapped potential when it comes to subgenre.
I feel like they're probably pretty tough to write.
Well, I mean, just ask Seth MacFarlane, who made...
Oh, I never saw that, actually.
In the West?
Yeah.
That's a piece of garbage. Let's have Neil Patrick Harris shit into a bunch of hats.
Is that what happens in the movie?
That's literally a scene that happens. They give Neil Patrick Harris laxatives before he goes to a duel in the streets, and then he ends up pulling his pants down, running around to the people watching the duel, taking off their 10-gallon hats and shitting in them until he fills it up, and then grabbing another hat and continuing to shit.
Is it weird that you're selling me on the movie?
Yes, which are not surprising.
Then again, it's written by the guy who wrote Ted, Yashar, so, I mean, yeah.
Oh, that's who Seth MacFarlane is? I had no idea.
From you being surprised that that's a comedy in the movie, I'm kind of surprised you didn't realize that's who it was. I'm surprised at one point they're like, hey, remember that one time this one character did this one thing? Of what I watched of A Million Ways to Die in the West, I have no interest in watching the whole film. So, but that's the last comedy western to come out since Gunless, best of my knowledge. Yeah.
At least mainstream.
It's not like a lot of westerns come out.
No, I mean, I think it's like 1 to 2 a year, 3 maybe. I think we've had 3 this year.
Hold on, I just typed in Western comedies in Google. So I got Blazing Saddles,
Anything
West,
after 2010.
Shanghai Noon is 2000. Rango, I guess that's kind of a Western, but it's animated.
Well, we're talking about that later this month.
Let me see. Oh, The Lone Ranger. I've never seen that, actually. I heard mixed things about it.
But I mean, straight comedy. It's not. Blazing Saddles is a straight comedy. This movie has more in common with Blazing Saddles than Lone Ranger.
Right, Lone Ranger, I guess, is like an action comedy, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's an action movie that has some jokes in it,
like Pirates.
So did any of you guys see Lone Ranger?
Yes, it's bad.
Oh, it's bad.
That's unfortunate. It's got William Fichtner in it, and
I really like Armie Hammer a lot, and I mean Johnny Depp is. Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp playing a non-white man with a crow on his head.
Isn't Johnny Depp like 1/16 Cherokee or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Wow. Okay. Whatever you say, Johnny Depp. When that is your justification to someone for why you were cast for a role, that probably means
not like
you shouldn't be cast.
He went around saying that. I made a point on Facebook when he got cast. I was like, why not cast an Indian actor? I'm sure there are enough of them. And somebody was like, oh, technically he's 1/16 Cherokee. And I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that. It's not like Johnny Depp went out and did press releases saying, guys, it's cool. It's cool that I'm I don't know, Tonto. It's all right. I'm part Indian.
I guess, like, if it's good enough for colleges, it's good enough for Hollywood.
I really wish that they would make more comedy westerns. Because it just, I mean, did William Phillips say what drove him to write this movie?
I want to say that he did, but again, it's been about a month since I interviewed him for it, so I don't remember the specifics.
What did you guys think of the cast?
I like the movie as a whole, and I like the cast as a whole, too. I don't know if there's anybody that gave performances that I disliked. I especially liked Michael Eklund, the Peacemaker, Widowmaker, Equalizer guy.
The guy who inadvertently starts a gunfight?
Uh-huh.
By blowing up a stump?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, that guy. He's like, there's some weird people in that town.
Well, that's supposed to be the point, right? Like, it's, Canadians, bunch of weirdos. Like, that's what the Americans think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Although
and also it's a comedy in a small town, so everybody's going to be an oddball.
Right.
But no one's as weird as when we get to it, the daughter and Support Your Local Sheriff. That is an odd character.
I like Paul Gross. I've never seen him in anything, and from what I read after watching the film, he's a fairly well-known Canadian actor.
I don't know if I know him from anything either.
He's 56. I'll give him credit. He looks amazing for his age.
Wow. That's surprising.
He doesn't look that old.
He's 56 now, and this movie was made 5 years ago. So he was 51 when he made this movie?
Yeah, he does not look 51.
Dude, what? He's been eating a shitload of Tim Hortons, man. He's been eating a lot of Tim Hortons donuts, playing hockey, drinking maple syrup.
I'll have what he's having.
Yeah, right? If I look that good when I'm 51, Jesus Christ, man. I thought the guy was like in his 30s. That's nuts.
Yeah, maybe like 40.
He's he's pretty well cast in this movie. I'm kind of curious if he would be able to manage in a normal Western, not a comedy Western. I feel like he's kind of got that look a little bit with the long hair, obviously. And Tyler Mane, I mean, Jesus Christ.
He doesn't really do much except be like, man, you're stupid. That's like his role.
Well,
like,
and being 6'8".
Yeah, and gigantic, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Tyler Mane is a huge dude. Holy cow.
Well, it's good to know he survived the events of the first X-Men film.
Right? That's the last thing I've seen him in.
Hollywood-wise, yeah. I think so.
Yeah, I mean,
he's been in a bunch of stuff, but...
Nothing that mainstream.
Well, he's always like...
Big guy.
Michael Myers from Halloween. You know, you don't see his face a lot.
Oh, he was in Troy and the Scorpion King.
He was Ajax in Troy. The only good character in that movie.
He was in both the recent Halloween movies. Okay, so he's been in some fairly big movies.
But that's the thing. I mean, everything I've seen him in, he's been cast because he's
huge
and imposing.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I've seen anything where he got to act other than Gunless.
He's a natural.
Troy, I guess, but I didn't really like that movie.
He's a natural Canadian.
Well, I would assume everybody in this movie's Canadian.
Sienna Gilroy's Canadian?
I don't know.
I would assume so. No, she's British.
Oh.
And I didn't realize that she was in Resident Evil Apocalypse either.
Yeah, well, I didn't recognize her, but then I read her name and I was like, wait a second. Because I was like, this chick is very attractive. What else has she been in?
Yeah, I mean, everybody in this, I really liked everybody in this movie. I think that the problem in my mind with this movie is just there are times where it drags. But if we're talking comedy westerns that are a totally underrepresented genre, then this one is still really high up there, and it's creative. I mean, the idea that this guy, goes into this town and he doesn't have a gun, and the whole movie is him just trying to get a gun to duel with a guy that he has no right to duel with, I think is a pretty funny concept.
I also like the tone of it too.
I mean, there are parts that are trying to take itself seriously.
Right. I mean, when I watch this movie, this is the kind of movie that you can watch with, like, your family. Because we here at Culture Shock are into some messed up movies. Cannibal Holocaust, that kind of stuff.
I like how that's the one movie we're just going to keep going back to. I thought you were going to say A Troll in Central Park. We're into some fucked up movies, like A Troll in Central Park.
Pretty sure nobody's actually into that movie. But, this movie, Gunless, is more of a sort of family movie. I could watch this with my parents and chuckle and enjoy it.
Right.
Whereas I can't watch a lot of movies that I like with my parents.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, but, a lot of the comedy westerns for the most part are that way, except for A Million Ways to Die in the West.
Blazing Saddles isn't really a family movie either.
Oh, my God. I love Blazing Saddles, though, but it's totally it's not even PC.
No.
It's not even PC. I mean, it's comedy, so comedy doesn't inherently have to be PC, but there's a lot of stuff in Blazing Saddles that I, was surprised that Mel Brooks did.
No, it wasn't PC back when it was made.
Yeah.
And now it's definitely not.
Yeah.
I don't really remember Blazing Saddles that well, but I thought it was funny.
There's a lot of they drop the F-bomb a couple times. They say the N-word a lot. So it's Mel Brooks. I mean, Mel Brooks has an irreverent sense of humor that comes through in everything he does. And I think that Gunless has a smarter sense of humor than a lot of the comedy westerns do. And that's why it's success. That's why, for the most part, the movie is successful for me.
Like the good part about Gunless is like this guy is taken from, like, the main character is taken from a generic western and put into a city where the people are slightly more reasonable, and it's kind of like, let's see what would happen. That's the premise.
Right, and that works.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's not offensively bad. I didn't love it. It's okay. Like, if you are into westerns, maybe I'd recommend it, but it's just not very memorable for me.
So before I get y'all's opinions on Skip It or Watch It, what do you think the Rotten Tomato meter says for it?
I'm going to go with 76, because I think I would give it closer to like an 85-90. and I usually bid low. So yeah, 76.
What about you,
65.
Oh, sorry to tell both of you, it is 40%.
What?
Yeah.
Then
again, mind you, 5 reviews counted, 2 fresh, 3 rotten.
Oh, it's not that many reviews.
Oh, it only has 5?
6 technically, but one of them is from the National Post, and it doesn't even have anything. So, yeah, I would give it much higher than that. I mean, I would give it like 70 probably. It's not a bad movie. It's just you kind of, depending on who you are, you'll find it funnier than some. It's really dependent on who you are finding it funny to some extent, and how much you know about westerns. So, Yashar, skip it, watch it, best performance.
Watch it if you're really into Western comedies. Otherwise, I'd say skip it. Best performance. I really like the guy that played, even though the Mounties were kind of pointless as far as narrative progression goes. I did really enjoy, what was his name? The guy that played the leader of the Mounties.
Dustin Milligan,
yeah. He was like the very straight-laced, basically like the Captain America of Canada. He kind of had a crush on the love interest of the Montana kid as well.
I thought it was more like Dudley Do-Right.
Yeah, I mean, I got some Dudley Do-Right there too. But I don't know.
Just no Brendan Fraser.
Despite the fact that he was sort of initially portrayed as sort of a dweeb, he had like this, I guess, unflappable code.
Yeah.
That endeared me towards him. And like, despite the fact that this guy was like a stranger with a history, when characters are like very reasonable and logical, I tend to gravitate towards them. And so I like that about him. I wish he was given more to do in the movie, but it's not much I can do about that at this point.
What about you, John?
Well, I'm going to go with Watch It. And I think best performance, I'm going to have to go with Sienna Guillory. Because her sort of independent female character that knows how to live on her own sort of functions as probably the best and sort of most in-depthly portrayed character of the movie. I mean, Montana Kid is clearly the main character, but her Jane is sort of the better one.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna go with Watch It, and I'm in agreement with you, John. Sienna Guillory is the best part of the film, and she acts as the co-main character because a lot of the stuff that happens is her affecting Shane Lafferty, the Montana Kid, and normally that's, you don't get that in westerns that much because normally the main character just kind of still has shit to do at the end of the movie. He hasn't really changed a whole lot, and I think that's interesting in this movie as opposed to other westerns.
The one thing I will say, so he's supposed to not want to kill anyone at the end. It wasn't clear to me that he didn't kill the other guys in the bounty hunter's crew, but apparently he didn't, according to Wikipedia.
He hit them in the head or with signs. Yeah. He didn't shoot any of them.
Yeah, I guess I just didn't really think about it.
Even when he dumps that guy in the bucket full of water, they make sure that you can see behind him
he's
the guy
moving around,
sitting up.
Yeah. So, like we said earlier in the podcast, we spoke with William Phillips and Tyler Main, so we'll play those interviews back to back, and when we get back, we'll talk about Support Your Local Sheriff.
So you both wrote and directed the film Gunless.
Yes.
So where did you get the idea for it?
Well, so many ideas that it's usually a blend of a couple of things, and in this particular case, I was always very interested in the difference between the settling of the West in America versus Canada. In Canada, in a very oversimplified way, in America, pioneers went out and they settled it. It was the Wild West, and eventually law came out and put some control into things. But that was after quite some time, and quite a bit of fuss went on, and a lot of great stories came out of that period. In Canada, it was the opposite. In Canada, the mounted police went out first. It was by design. They were going to go out and deal with the indigenous peoples and kind of make things organized and settled, and then they drew everyone out. They said, okay, now you can come out. It's all in place. So I thought a story that brought together those very different philosophical approaches to pioneering would be very interesting. So you'd have it's almost the mythology of the American gunfighter placed in a very orderly environment like the Canadian West. Mm-hmm. So that was part of it. The other part of it was I just found the basic premise of the the story kind of fun. This idea of, taking, again, it's a mythological figure, a gunfighter, which has, been so built up into, a set of characteristics, and putting him in an environment where people don't fulfill those characteristics. They don't play into those characteristics. So the gunfighter who can't get the gunfight going, is a very frustrated character, and I think a great opportunity for comedy and drama as well. So I brought all those elements together, and that kind of launched me into the story of Gunless.
Right. And the movie, it definitely sort of turns Western stereotypes on their heads. And did you watch a lot of Westerns when you were younger, growing up?
Yeah, I watched certainly my fair share of them. And yeah, the idea was to take a lot of these traditions and just mess with them a bit, but not spoof them, not like Blazing Saddles, but more, taking the expectations of the Western, the classic Western, and turning them on their head, and not just for the audience, but also for our protagonist, the lead character. A big part of the Montana Kid is he just gets frustrated because nobody's following the rules of the Western.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we behave in a Western, and you're not doing it. And so I can't, as a character, move forward the way I usually would. And character creates story, and that's what I was trying to do there.
And how long did it take to write the movie?
Well, it's kind of an interrupted timeline in that I first pitched the idea after my second feature film, one that was called Foolproof, and that was some years before. I would say that would have been about 6 years before we really got going on it again. I pitched it, and somebody, they were saying, we want to support you in writing a script because we liked Foolproof very much. What would you like to do? And I pitched Gunless, and they went, "Oh man, a Western, really?" And I said, "Yeah, no, hear me out." And so I pitched the idea, and they said, "Okay, that's great." And so I wrote it then, but it was also at the same time, we were having our second child at that point, and it was a crazy time, and it was a real juggling act at that point. But I pushed through the script, and to be honest, I didn't really like it when I first wrote it. I said, "Okay, we're delivering it. Here's the script, but I'm not so sure about it." And it just kind of went away at that point. It just went away. And then some years went by. I guess 5 or 6 years went by, and I said, I should look at that script again. And I remember I was taking my car in for service, and so I said, instead of just flipping through the magazines in the waiting room, I'll take that script and read it again. Maybe I'll learn something from it. Well, I read it in the waiting room, and I laughed. I thought it was really funny. So that got it going again. I started pitching it to various people, and it caught fire. And as these things do, I don't know why, but it caught fire. And after a couple of rewrites, it was going again. So when you ask how long did it take me to write it, I think I pushed through it in a couple of months in the first draft, put it away for 5 or 6 years, and then did a handful of rewrites over 6 months. So you can call it, was it 7 years in the making, or was it, about a year to write it? I don't know.
And you mentioned that you had you've had 2 other feature-length films that you've written and directed, Foolproof and Treed Murray.
Yes.
So what does it sort of take to do that? Because as an aspiring sort of filmmaker, it's interesting to me that actually happens,
Yeah, well, I'm sure a lot of the things I'm going to say you're going to have heard before. Part of it is just lucky, you being in the right place at the right time. But, I really set out at the beginning in a very methodical way. I wanted to be a filmmaker. I wanted to be out there directing and making movies. And coming out of film school, and then I went to the Canadian Film Centre, which is like the American equivalent of the AFI. And I was heading into that. I knew if I wanted to direct my own stuff, I have to write something that people want. Because in the end of the day, people, it's about content. And people want content. Now, we're talking, my first film was in 1999, but it's even more true today that people want and need content. There's so many avenues for productions that I think the value, your bargaining chip, let's say, or your foot in the door is a script. Because if it's a good script, people, they want it, they need it. They need material to make. Mm-hmm. So I put some effort into writing scripts, and I designed my first script, to be very doable on a classic low-budget film, limited locations, limited characters, and, with a higher concept and a hook. And I wrote it with the idea of, if I write this well enough and if I can connect with people enough in the script, then I can say, okay, you want this? Well, guess what? I'm the guy to direct it. And I was, it wasn't just, me being obstinate and saying, you can't play with this ball unless I get to be part of the team. It wasn't so much that. I also designed, my short film at the Canadian Film Center. I designed it and wrote it so that it showcased a lot of the themes and ideas that were in my first script. So I was creating confidence in people that not only do I have a script that you can read that you really want to do, but I could actually, if I could do the short that's a lot like the script, then I can get away with the feature too. So it was by design to get to the point where I could do both. And then after that, I just continued on that pattern of writing script that people wanted to do and then attaching myself to it on the way in.
And when you were writing the piece for Gunless,
yes.
I've written a few things, and when I'm writing, I definitely have a sort of visual image in my head of what I want it to look like when it's done. Was it difficult to get that finished sort of feel to the movie, like the visuals of it?
Yeah, well, it's I have to say, that's really the pinnacle is when you can dream up an idea, you write it in a script, and then you're standing there directly. You're looking at your video assist, you're looking through the lens of the camera, and you're going, oh my gosh, it's exactly like I pictured it in my head. Like, that is the most incredible feeling. What I can tell you is that happens once, maybe twice, if you're lucky, in an entire feature film process. The rest of it's like, compromise this, change this, people want to do it like this instead of this. The actor isn't what you thought, but they brought something more to the scene that you could have imagined, so it's better in that way. You couldn't get a tiger that would catch on fire or whatever you want. So it's a bale of hay on fire. Okay, whatever. It's all these things change all the time. But the real joy is that one or two moments in all the shots that you have to put together for an entirely feature film. When you look at it and go, man, that's just what I thought. And then it becomes a little bit existential too, because you go, how weird is this? That I just dreamed this up in my head. And I put it in my head, and then at some point, we're talking about dozens and dozens, like 100 people are coming together with all this fortune worth of equipment and talent just to create that moment that you put into your head. Like, how weird is that?
Mm-hmm.
You ask yourself, like, what are we doing? Like, I dreamed of this scene where this man comes in and he slaps this woman, and then they're doing it? What, are you people crazy? Like, what else will you do if I write it down? But it's a blast when it all comes together. But I do have to say, it's pretty rare when everything happens like you've pictured in your mind. Very rare.
Mm-hmm.
But when it happens, it's great.
And now that we're sort of talking about the actual, production and filming of it, how long did it take to build all the set pieces? Because every building in that movie has scenes inside it.
It really was. I've got it. If I can just say at the outset, the pinnacle of this film, the star of it, like the gold in this film, is the work of the production designer Matthew Budgeon. Like, he really brought all of that together, like well beyond anything I could have hoped for. Like, I don't know if you agree with me, but I would say, there's the authenticity of the spaces that he created, the feel of the spaces that he created are just marvelous. He did a really great job,
mm-hmm.
and with the exception of the mounted police fort scenes where they have the dance and so on, we found locations that would work for that. Everything else was built from scratch. And it did, it took a while to get done, but a lot faster than you think, because, this is a Canadian film and there's limited resources, and here's our timeline. We start here and we shoot here, prep starts here, and it's got to finish in 5 weeks, and then off we go into shooting, and that's done in 4 weeks, and there just isn't a lot of time. And they put this together. It was so fast to build this whole town. It went up, and they were working ahead of time, prefabbing a lot of the elements of the building, and then they brought them all into this beautiful, beautiful location and put it all together, and then finished it over a matter of weeks. It was really an incredible job. And as I say, Matthew Budgeon, he's a genius. He's a good man and a very talented guy.
And while we're talking about the sort of less the roles in filmmaking that get sort of less credit when people normally talk about movies, the final appearance of a lot of films has a lot to do with the cinematographer. So what was it like to work with Gregory Middleton?
He was great. He's fantastic. He's, I think we're a lot alike in terms of personality, so it was very fun to work with him. He was he brought a lot to the table. As a director, I always like to work with people who make my game better. That's my goal as a director, is to find people who understand what I want to do and then make me a little better than I could hope for. So he falls into that category. And we were in agreement in how we wanted it to look, and he found a way to do that. Now, some of the landscapes, if you've seen the film, you'll see that, how can you not make it look good? It's so beautiful. But he was very conscious of how to deal with the light and how to get the most out of our days and making it look good. He did a great job. And he brought creative to the front too. I remember there was it seems like a very small shot, but it was in the environment when the Montana kid he's taking a bath, and the little girl is bringing some soup to him, and there's this confusion. He ends up pulling his gun on this girl, and I just couldn't figure out how to angle things around the sheet that was draped down to help create this confusion. And he said, "Bill, we can do this, no problem." And he just sketched it all out, and there it was. We were ready to go. So it's moments like that when you're on set, like, oh, time's ticking. How am I going to get this to work? And he stepped up and made my game better. So he did a great job, really good job. A talented guy. And the other thing I want to say too, which was great, is we were on when this was shot. There was a big push, as there is now. It's almost an imperative to shoot on digital. Shoot on the high def. And we both agreed, if we're going to run this and make it look like a classic Western, we have to shoot on film. And I think that I won't be surprised if I tell the story 30 years from now that, Gunless was the last time I shot on 35 millimeter film. To shoot that on film was a big endeavor, especially in that, we're really in the backcountry, a lot of dust in the air, and working with those cameras, the whole camera department, we owe them a lot of thanks, and Greg was behind me and shooting it in film, and the result is it looks really great and very much like a classic Western.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what was it like to work with Tyler Mane and Sienna Guillory?
Guillory, yeah. She was terrific. She I think was very excited to do the piece. It was a character that really spoke to her in a big way, and she brought a lot to the table. And of course, the camera loves her, and the camera also loves Tyler Mane. Like, he's an imposing figure. He just a great guy, Tyler Mane. Like, he's very much whatever you want to do, I'll do it. They're very professional, very focused. And but up for any idea, and he found a way to make things work. I think he's a good actor, and I know he's working on his own stuff right now, trying to get his own projects off the ground, and he deserves every success that he gets. And so imposing, like the guy, he is as big as he looks on screen. But a friendly guy, really friendly guy.
And there's also Michael Eklund is in the film, and there's one thing he does that I would do an imitation of it to sort of make sure you know what I'm talking about, but I can't. Whenever he's using slang terms for the handguns.
The Widowmaker.
Yeah, was that clicking improvised, or was that written into the script?
No, that was his creation. I wrote it such that I wanted him to say it in kind of this annoying drawl thing, and he came up with this, which I think was an even better idea, because it was very clear what he was doing that would be annoying to the Montana kid, and that was his idea. He very funny guy, very funny guy, and his name pops up all the time now in films. It's he's doing an awful lot. Mm-hmm. Good guy.
And do you have any other particularly memorable stories from your time on set?
Well, I guess, just being in that environment, which was so beautiful, I'm not going to forget that. But there was also some, I guess, tougher elements to it by carving this town out of the landscape. We opened up the earth to do that, to create this sense of roads and this big street. And we unearthed, the elements which turned to dust right away. And so we would have literally dust storms. The wind would pick up and the dust would blow everywhere, and you could barely see in front of your face until the wind would pass. And then there'd be like these dirt devils flying around, and it was actually comical at points that we just couldn't shoot. So for as much as it was a pain, I'll never forget those. It was kind of fun. And I guess I also have to say that my son was in the film. He had a very small role. He was the schoolboy that kind of showed up on occasion. And I really enjoyed my time with him around the set. That was a lot of fun. That was great. And finally, the big shootout. Filming that was just great. It's like playing make believe, and to set these things up and get the guns start firing and you're moving around with the camera and the actors are jumping around. It's like you were playing cowboys and Indians when you were a kid, but it's right there in front of you with all the bells and whistles. It's very memorable and wonderful.
And what did you think of the final product when it was all finished?
In the end, very critical of it, as I am with all of my films. I would have to say, I think when all is said and done, you watch it, I think it's got a film that's got heart, and I think its heart is definitely in the right place. I'm critical technically of some of the things that go on. I think most significantly, I would say that in the end, we didn't have enough time cutting it. We didn't draw the story enough out of it that I had hoped for, but it's still a great watch, and it's still a lot of fun. And I challenge you to find directors who say, I loved everything about the film, I wouldn't change anything. So if I want to say, if I'm going to be critical about it, I'd say the cutting of the first half, we could have used some more time to do that. But having said that, it rolls quite well, and that's I guess ultimately what I hoped for. It feels good to watch the film, and I think you get the idea behind it when you finish, and I think the audiences are satisfied. They're satisfied and pretty happy with it.
Mm-hmm. And is there any one part of the movie that is probably your favorite part when you rewatch it now?
That it's when you shoot things and you do coverage of stuff and you go, sometimes, a lot of the time you go, I think we got it. I think we'll be able to put the story together there. There are scenes that you shoot them and you go, oh, we're good. We're good. This scene works. It's going to work really, really well. And I felt that about the scene between the Montana kid and Tyler Mane when he goes for his showdown and he actually is trying to take his own life. And just shooting it, the way it was shot, the way it was performed, when we wrapped that scene, I knew, man, this is going to come together really, really well. It's going to be very tense, and then it's got a great punchline at the end. It's going to fly, and it does fly. And whenever I see that scene, I'm very pleased with it. And I get drawn into it too. The way it all comes together, it's tense. Like this guy, he is trying to get the blacksmith to kill him, and it all falls apart at the end in a funny way. And it works. It works every time. Even though I wrote it, I shot it, and I edited it, I'm still taken away by that scene. So that's probably the scene, my favorite one.
How did you first get involved with Gunless?
I sent in an audition tape to Bill, and then I was getting done with Halloween 2, came in to talk to him about the role, and saw him about it, and ended up with the role.
And you've played a lot of sort of bad guys like Michael Myers or Sabretooth. Did it feel different to play Jack?
Yeah, it was a nice change. I got to do some comedy and have a little bit of fun with it. It was a nice, fresh change from just playing the villain or the usual roles that I do play.
And how did you prepare for the role of a sort of, Wild West blacksmith?
I tell you, when I was growing up, I pretended I was a cowboy. I clipped the playing cards onto my bicycle spokes and pedaled my bike thinking I was Billy the Kid. And the one thing that I said to Bill when I got there is, I hope I get to ride a horse. And I ended up being the blacksmith and didn't even get to ride a horse, but I got to shoe a horse, so that was kind of good. But I've been around horses quite a bit. I had a horse ranch for a while, and so it was kind of was kind of a fun switch to be able to work with the horses and be a part of that whole thing.
And what was the shooting schedule like for the film?
I was up there for a very short time. We were in Soyuz, I believe, in BC, and it was great to get up there and meet everybody. I met a lot of great people, and we had some fun times up there.
And you mentioned working with William Phillips. What was he like as a director?
Bill is a great director. I mean, I have nothing but good things to say about Bill. He lets you develop the character, and then he'll sit with you and help you develop the scenes even further. It was fantastic working with Bill and everyone else on the set.
And do you have any particularly interesting stories from your time on set?
Wow. The thing that I do remember is eating a lot of dust. We were up there, and I was like, it was kind of nice and refreshing to be able to jump into a mission van when it was quite warm up there. And I remember reflecting and thinking, if this was really back then, there would be no air conditioning, and you'd just keep eating dust. And the one scene that I really enjoyed shooting was the scene in the schoolhouse where I get wedged in the desk.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of fun.
Did that sort of happen on accident, or was that scripted?
Well, I mean, when you got a guy my size and you try and put him into a small desk like that, something's going to happen. I was just glad I didn't break the desk, But, I kind of got stuck in there, and it just kind of happened on accident, and turned out pretty good. Added another comedy beat to it.
And also, at one point, your character can sort of be seen in the general store eating cans of snails. Were you actually eating snails?
No. I think it was. It's been so long ago. I think they were mushrooms. I'm not sure. Yeah, no, I would not eat a can of snails. Sometimes you got to just draw that line and go, nope, I'm not going past that.
What did you think of the final product?
I enjoyed it. I was really, really pleased with it. The whole film, the cast, it was a fantastic project, and I'm very thrilled to say that I was a part of it.
And are you working on anything now that you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to do 4 other projects this year. I'm getting ready to get on a plane and go to North Carolina to film a film called Checkpoint with William Phillips and Bill Goldberg. Then I go to fly off to New York for a film called AA, Abnormal Attractions, which is a comedy where I am playing a cyclops of all things. And then I'm going to be doing William Frost in September, and we're also, through Main Entertainment, getting ready to do our second picture, Penance Lane, which is a horror thriller that we're currently looking for a home where we're going to be filming it this fall also.
All right, so big thanks to William Phillips and Tyler Mann for sitting down and talking about Gunless with us. But let's move on to Support Your Local Sheriff. Came out in 1969, directed by Burt Kennedy, written by William Bowers, and it stars James Garner and Jack Elam, one of the most prolific actors of Westerns, and Bruce Dern in a supporting role. And it focuses on James Garner's character, Jason McCullough, who goes to a town that has been hit by the gold rush, and he is on his way to Australia, and he's only passing through, and he ends up taking up the position of the sheriff of the town. And it too is a comedic Western. Yashar, what did you think of the film?
I liked it a lot, actually. It's not particularly an original film, as far as it's nothing I haven't seen before plot-wise, but I really like James Garner's character. He wasn't over the top, but he managed to be funny throughout the film. And his partnership with Jake, the Jack Elam character, I really liked. I thought he was hilarious. And actually, I felt like all the performances were actually pretty good. The mayor as well, who was portrayed.
Harry Morgan.
it was something about the way he like delivered his lines. It was like he was always trying to do two things at once: cater to the fact that they're under the thumb of these guys who they have to pay 20%, but also kind of fight for the people at the same time. It's hard to put in words, but I found that really interesting. And Bruce Dern's character is an idiot who spent most of his time in a jail without bars, and that whole plot point was actually really entertaining, and he helps them in setting up how to actually imprison him in a more efficient way. And it's just small things like that. And I really have no qualms with the film, other than the daughter of the mayor is just a super bizarre performance that I can't pretend I understood what was going on with her. But it wasn't bad. It was just super weird. But I really like the movie, and I think this is the first James Garner movie I've seen that he's actually like youngish in. What
about you, John?
This is another one I really liked. Like we talked about when we were talking about Gunless, this one is a lot more sort of fast-paced, one joke after the other. There's less of a message to it and it has more of an intentional, sort of one after the other comedy. I really like all the performances. Even Joan Hackett's Prudy Perkins, I think. Her character is definitely weird, but I think I also get what's going through her head. One person Yashar didn't mention is Henry Jones, who's in a lot of westerns as well, and he's great as the sort of slimy council member, I guess.
Which council member was he?
The one with the jowls.
The one with the bug eyes.
Right.
Because I'm not gonna lie, they kind of, other than the mayor, were all like the same to me.
I think Bruce Dern is great in this movie as Joe Danby. I think his interactions with James Garner are probably the best jokes in the movie. Especially the red paint on the floor that's supposed to be blood that keeps him in the jail.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
I mean, everything that Bruce Dern was in this movie is the good jokes. When he's talking to his dad, Walter Brennan, is talking to Joe's brothers, it's okay, but when Pa Danby goes in to talk to Joe Danby, those scenes are awesome. And so I think Bruce Dern really brings a lot to the movie. And then this movie has a scene in it, or a montage, I guess, that makes fun of all other westerns when the Danbys are just putting a bounty out on James Garner's head. And it's a montage one after the other of people showing up in town to try and kill James Garner. And they manage to make each one funny while also having James Garner shoot people.
I like that scene a lot. He's just there he is, Sheriff. Oh, I shouldn't have pointed him out to you. I like this movie a lot.
Are you going to kill another man? Well, I'm sure we all hope it ends that way.
I really like this movie. Go ahead, you Sharp.
I was just making quotes, and he's like, why don't y'all go to the fight outside? He's like, it's a real good one. Ladies too.
I like this movie a lot. Like Yashar mentioned, this is the first time I've seen James Garner in something where he isn't old. Well, because I mean, he was
in Maverick too, but
he's still like in his 50s in that movie. I had seen him in Space Cowboys, in The Notebook, and both of those movies are in the last 15 years. So, seeing James Garner as kind of this smart alecky, womanizing sheriff who's like, you know what, I don't give a fuck. I will literally tell you to go fuck yourself, stick my finger in the barrel of your gun, and you won't, and I'm so confident you won't shoot me that I'm going to stick my finger in the barrel of your gun. He totally makes this movie. I don't know if anyone else could have pulled off that role. Bruce Dern is amazing. Bruce Dern recently was in Nebraska, which is a really great film.
Nebraska is good.
Yeah. And, this was the first time Bruce Dern had been in a comedic film, and I didn't even recognize it was him until I looked at the IMDb afterwards.
Yeah, me neither. But I guess when I look back, I'm like, oh, the eyes, because he has very distinct eyes.
Well, for me, it was you can't recognize him because of his damn beard.
Yeah, he has a really long beard in the movie.
But, the fact that this movie is still relevant almost 50 years later, 50? 60? 60. 50 years later, is a testament to just the absolute on-the-nose writing style of the film.
Bruce Dern was in Django Unchained? I do not remember that.
He's preparing for his role in Hateful Eight.
Sanford Smithers.
So this movie is really funny, and the fact that the end of the movie has a fourth wall breaking is also pretty great.
Yeah.
Which a lot of movies, when they do that, don't do it very well. And
what is it that happens?
Jack Elam looks at the camera, and he's like, they got married, and then McCullough became the governor of Colorado.
And he was like and he never made it out of Australia. Oh, what do you guys think about the Australia thing?
I liked it. It was an interesting gimmick to give his character sort of a background and a reason for being in town.
Yeah, I thought that there was like some underlying joke to it, and apparently it's just he kept saying it. So it's funny. I thought that maybe that was like a thing in the 70s. Like, I'm going to Australia. That was like a thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, it wasn't like good or bad. It was just something in the movie, and I wasn't really sure how I felt about it.
I really like the scene though where he's explaining to Jack Elam about the Aborigines and the sticks that they throw that come back to them.
Oh, the boomerangs?
Yeah. He's like, there's a stick that you can throw that comes back to you. And look on Jack Elam's face like, what? I mean, Jack, as great as James Garner is, Jack Elam makes this movie.
Oh, yeah, he's hilarious.
Especially if you're a fan of Westerns.
Right.
I think that's kind of the whole positioning, obviously, of Jack Elam, right, John, in this movie?
I mean, I don't know what the time frame is for this compared to other Westerns that he's been in. I think these probably happened earlier or before, and so these might be the reason that he's in so many Westerns, but I mean, he was in that Arnold Schwarzenegger one, The Villain. He was in Once Upon a Time in the West. He's been in a bunch of other movies that are Western genred. I mean, he is almost always in the older Westerns, and these movies really let him sort of branch out from the standard prototypical sort of mook gunman that gets killed.
I mean, he was at the beginning of Once Upon a Time in the West.
Right, as a mook gunman that got killed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the jelly on his face.
Right.
Yeah, that was him. You guys want to discuss the daughter, her role? Since that was just so...
I feel like you're really hung up on that character.
Because everything she did didn't make any sense.
What are you talking about? Sometimes I don't understand how you watch movies, Yashar. She's clearly infatuated with James Garner, but doesn't want him to know it. And so her being obsessed with not letting him know that she likes him causes her to stop paying attention to other things, and that causes her to get into trouble, which then causes her to be put in embarrassing situations like up a tree or with her dress on fire. I don't know what's confusing about it.
Or the whole thing where she's like, you're being reasonable, and he's like, now I feel like you're calling me a coward. I'm like, is this reverse psychology, or am I just dumb?
That's just a joke scene. That's not like a plot device. It just is a joke. Because this typical Western has the male not walking away from something that he could easily walk away from, because if he walks away and doesn't stand and fight, then other people that don't matter and that he'll never see again would think he's a coward. And the joke of the scene is that she thinks it's really admirable and mature that he is willing to walk away, and the fact that she says that makes him think that he should stay. It's just a joke that plays off of the typical Western genre archetype.
Again, I feel like some of these things that you're having problems with, Yashar, are just not familiar with Westerns.
I guess. But I feel like you shouldn't have to be like a student of a genre to understand everything.
Well, if you make a comedy in a genre, you're gonna make references to that genre. If I make a comedy that's specifically spoofing action movies, you're not gonna get a lot of the jokes if you don't watch action.
Yeah.
If somebody watches Tucker and Dale versus Evil, but they don't watch horror movies, they're not gonna get half the jokes because it's a genre comedy.
True Chains.
Oh God. But I think that this movie is really good, and it does still kind of hold up now. Does that make sense? I don't feel like this movie's dated. I mean, there's stuff in Blazing Saddles that's dated.
Right.
Particularly some of the language. But this movie doesn't feel dated at all. So
no? I mean, except when you realize how old James Garner is now.
Well, James Garner's
dead.
Right.
He dead?
Yes.
Right, exactly. Okay. And you realize that he's grown old and died.
Yeah. And Bruce Dern is the only one alive from the main cast.
Right.
Last I checked.
He is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see the sequel to this.
Support your local gunfighter?
Yeah.
It's not a sequel.
Well, it's, sequel in air quotes.
Right. It's a very similar movie made by the same people with mostly the same cast.
Yeah.
It's in a different town, they play different characters, but it's, tonally it's a sequel.
Yeah. I'm curious to see it.
I think it's like one of the Point Gross Blank and the War Incorporated type deal where it's not really a sequel, but it's like a spiritual sequel.
No.
War
Inc. is a spiritual sequel to Gross Point Blank?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that.
It's the same creator and everything. Basically the same main character.
Huh.
Have you seen War Inc.?
Yeah, I own them both. I just don't know if I would say it has the same tone.
Isn't Gross Point Blank the one where Dan Aykroyd's a assassin?
No.
Yeah.
No, John Cusack's an assassin.
No, they're both assassins. Dan Aykroyd is an assassin trying to start an assassin's union.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
And John Cusack refuses to join.
Because Dan Aykroyd's also in War Incorporated. John Cusack's also.
Yeah, I get that it has a lot of the same cast. I just don't know if I would say that tonally I think it's a similar movie.
Right.
I think Grosse Pointe Blank focuses more on the romantic comedy aspect of it, and War Inc. focuses more on the fish out of water dealing with his life choices aspect.
Yeah, War Inc.'s almost like a full-blown satire. I don't disagree, but I'm just saying they're...
That's what they say they're spiritual sequels. But whether or not we believe that to be the case is different. I would really like to see more people have seen this movie. Because apparently when it came out, it was pretty popular. Obviously popular enough to warrant a spiritual sequel in the form of Support Your Local Gunfighter. And I really kind of want to watch more stuff that has James Garner in it. I mean... This is a good movie. There's not a whole lot to talk about. The thing that I like the most about the movie is the end where James Garner does a couple things in the movie
that are a little fucked up.
Yeah. Like he straps Bruce Dern to the cannon.
Okay, can we talk about that scene real quick?
And he's I'm gonna blow you up, blow a hole through.
I'm gonna shoot a cannonball through your torso and into your relatives.
Yeah, and kill all of them.
Well, his relatives are trying to kill him.
It makes sense. It's just still a little fucked up.
Okay, let's talk about that scene. He sends Jack up the stairs on one side of the corridor where they're fighting, and the tank or the cannon is all the way on the other side where there's gunfire all the way throughout, and the scene just cuts to them tying the guy up. That blew my mind. I was like, how did it get from point A to point B? But I just kind of was like, yeah, I got that was a joke. Because I watched it, I rewound it 2 or 3 times. I was like, did I miss something? And then
I also at one point James Garner puts his hand up. He tells the people to stop shooting in the shootout at the end. Everyone stops shooting and he crosses the street and then he's like, all right, start again.
Yeah. He's like, you guys can go.
His character is pretty great. I mean, he's literally just telling everyone to go fuck themselves, more or less.
Mm-hmm. For most of the movie, yeah.
Yeah, and that's my favorite part of this movie is the fact that he's just I don't give a fuck. At one point, there's a huge...
He's like an actual cowboy version of Han Solo.
Yeah, a little bit more comedic.
Right.
Yeah.
If Han Solo hadn't been dealing with Princess Leia and Luke Skywalker, I feel like Han Solo would be cracking jokes a lot too.
Well, guess what? We're gonna get to find out with the Han Solo prequel film that was announced at Comic-Con.
You mean the one that's gonna be starring probably Chris Pratt? I've always just been under the impression that Chris Pratt's going to be in everything.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like Chris Pratt. I'm just saying.
So, I don't know anyone who doesn't.
I'd be that'd be my most obvious casting of all time.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know anyone who doesn't like Chris Pratt either.
Yeah, either Chris Pratt or Bradley Cooper. They both kind of have that dickish I don't give a fuck vibe to them.
Love B. Coops.
Oh God. Ugh.
B. Coops.
Oh God!
If you're listening to B. Coops, hit me up.
There's something wrong with your brain, Yashar.
By the way, if Bradley Cooper is listening to this, he's not going to hit you up for calling him B. Coops.
B. Coops.
Because I doubt anyone that even knows him calls him B. Coops, and if they did, he's probably like, "Oh my God."
Me and B. Coops go way back. People said I kind of look like Bradley Cooper in American Hustle when he kind of looked like a Persian dude. I'm like, I'll take it.
True.
I'm just saying.
That can't possibly be true.
It's occurred at least once in my life, so I will accept it.
I'm curious. What do you think the Rotten Tomato score for this film was?
82.
91.5.
So 92.
Yeah. Yeah, 10 points below what I picked.
No, I didn't say what it was. Yashar said 91.5, and I said so 92.
Ah, okay. So what is it?
64%.
What?
Really?
But 11 reviews counted. 4 rotten, 7 fresh. So
Yeah,
so another batch of dickheads that don't know anything about the genre.
Oh my gosh, calm yourself, John.
I'm
just
saying.
Like you can't say that about. That's like if I say that about every like comic book movie you guys don't like.
No, because
we've seen all the comic book movies.
We are comic book nerds as well. I can say that about westerns because you guys aren't western nerds. You can't say it about comic book movies because I watch comic book movies probably as much, if not more, than you do.
Irregardless, Roger Ebert is one of the people that gave it a negative review.
Oh, man.
Roger Ebert is just not a fan of westerns, man.
I guess.
So
What about Siskel?
I don't know. This was a review written by Roger Ebert in 1969. So
Good year. That's when we went to the moon.
So Ebert is not a fan of westerns from the looks of it. He gave Once Upon a Time in the West a bad review. So
what's his negative review for this one?
It's just like it's a TV idea drawn out to full length.
Huh.
I mean, I can see that, but it's still well done.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think if you narrowed it down to a TV episode, it'd lose a lot of the humor in it.
Right. Well, because a lot of the segments in the film, a lot of the scenes in the film are just bits. They're like comedic bits.
Mm-hmm.
They exist to be comedic bits, not, they don't really drive the story forward per se.
Right.
So, but, Yashar, skip it, watch it, best performance.
Watch it, best performance, I'm gonna go with James Garner, and yeah, I mean, it's really funny. It's not anything you haven't seen before, like as far as the plot structure goes, but I just was entertained the whole movie, and I really enjoyed it.
What about you, John?
I'm gonna go with watch it. Best performance, I gotta give it to Bruce Dern. I think his character is the funniest part of the movie. I think Jack Elam brings it together best, but I think Bruce Dern is the most entertaining aspect of it.
Me personally, I'm going to say watch it. Obviously, this is a really funny, good send-up of westerns. My favorite performance, I'm going to give it to Gene Evans, who played Tom Danby. He was the redhead Danby who is just... he says some weird stuff in this movie. At one point, he's like, "Pa, are you doing your hair up better?" Like, he's just like... he's like a dum-dum, right?
Yeah. You coloring your hair again?
He's like, in parts. He's like, covering in parts. He's like, what do you mean, in parts?
It just looks good, Spotty.
Yeah. His character is just like a total, just like nitwit.
Uh-huh.
This Wednesday, we're going to be talking about 6 Reasons Why and 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. I actually spoke with Matt Campagna, who is one half of the directing team, the Campagna brothers, for 6 Reasons Why, and he also helped write the film with his brother. And it's definitely a different take on westerns. So make sure to check that out. Obviously, 7 Brides, 7 Brothers is a musical.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 different films being paired up.
They're sort of genre twisting movies.
Yeah. And then next Sunday, we're going to be talking about Way of the Gun and...
The Good, the Bad, and the Weird?
Yes, that's right. The Good, the Bad, and the Weird. One of which is a retelling of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. So I'm looking forward to that. Well, it's got Korean actors in it, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, and the plot's a little different too, but it's sort of a Korean version of The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Right. So, Yashar, anything you want to plug before we wrap this up?
Yeah, just check out, if you're looking to do a move, check out BoxHop, the app I've developed, BoxHopp on the Google Play Store, about to be out on iOS. And then follow me at Yashar Piraste, to see my generated tweets from Culture Shocked. And
you're damn right.
I don't really have much else to say except for B Coops once again.
Oh,
I'm open to an interview. Hit me up.
I'm open to an interview, Bradley Cooper, if you'd like to talk to me about what I'm doing in my life.
Big fan of Limitless.
I think you're the only one.
Pretty much anything you've ever done, B Coops. Big fan.
The shill is real.
Anyways, we just talk about how working with J-Law.
Oh my God, no. Stuff. Okay, John, what about you?
Well, there's Chronicles from the Crypt, which is our podcast about Tales from the Crypt. There's my Twitter, which is JohnLeon1, spelled Lein, and the number 1. And, that's it.
You can follow me on Twitter at HeelStash, like Culture Shocked on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter. And yeah, just keep an eye out. We're doing Westerns this entire month, and we're about halfway through the month now. So, like we said, later this week, 6 Reasons Why and 7 Brides, 7 Brothers. And then next weekend, Way of the Gun and The Good, the Bad, and the Weird. So make sure to check those out.
He's the guy who's the talk of the town with the restless gun. Don't you bother to fool him around. Keeps the varmints on the run, boy. Keeps the varmints on the run. You may think he's a sleepy type guy, always takes his time. Soon I know you'll be changing your mind when you've seen him use a gun, boy. When you've seen him use a gun. He's the top of the West, always cool, he's the best. He keeps alive